posted there, and how will I know? Well, you always tune in here. Advisory services offered through Second Half Financial Partners, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments are appropriate for you, please consult with a financial advisor. Second Half Financial Partners, LLC does not provide tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax or legal advisor regarding your particular situation. And you will know if you tune in here every morning, because Phillip Statler from Statler Financial Services is on the line to talk about what's going on with your money this morning. Phillip, good morning. It's bright and sunny. It's gorgeous outside, and it looks like our gas prices are going up, huh?
Gas prices are going to be going up, Dave. I would say if they're not up today, fill up because they'll be up by tomorrow.
It's interesting. You and I have chatted about it while we've been off the air. Some of the gas suppliers in town kind of respond to the ongoing wholesale price. There's like a 1-week delay. There's a couple of ones that I fill up at that almost track the price of oil. I see it go down in the morning. It's down a couple of cents a gallon up where I fill up. It goes up by a couple of cents. Depends upon the chain down the line, but the price of oil is going through the roof this morning because after a pretty good day on the market yesterday, everything went to crud overnight when Israel started bombing the snot out of Iran, and all of a sudden all the rules changed, and we aren't paying any attention to tariffs whatsoever this morning, are we?
No, right now we're talking about, bombings over in Iran, Iraq, and that area because that's oil supply country. And so it's got oil. I think I saw earlier this morning up like 8%. Yeah, 8.2% right now. So, oil's heading through the sky roof.
Absolutely. To bring anybody up that didn't catch the top of the hour news, it was late last night that Israel launched a major attack on Iran to take out their nuclear capability. Yes, they did go after the nuclear plants. Word is the head of the Revolutionary Guard was among the people that they targeted and got in these attacks. And Iran, of course, responded by throwing a few hundred drones in Israel's direction. Don't have an update as far as any that actually made it through to Israel settlements, but the bottom line is they do have that Iron Dome, and it does get rid of the vast majority of those things. But nevertheless, we got a shooting war going over in the Middle East, and it doesn't look good for a lot of things. Among the ancillary things it doesn't look good for is your money. Setting the table just so that you got an idea as to what kind of a day and night change it was. Yesterday, even with a rotten day for Boeing, the Dow was up 102 points. Standard & Poor's was up by 23. NASDAQ was up by 47. It was a relatively good day. Then the shooting started, and the futures graph that I've got, it was like we fell off the edge of the earth late last night, doesn't it?
It does, Dave. I mean, that's let's face it, that was some pretty drastic news to see come across the ticker, and so it's definitely affected futures this morning. It's got some stocks trading up, like defense companies, oil companies. What was the other? Oh, gold companies. Those three industries are seeing some increases in their stock prices versus companies like airlines, hotels, they're seeing cruise lines, they're seeing a decline in their stock price this morning.
I'm kind of intriguing. Just another side effect. I'm looking at the curve, and it looks like it was there too. Crypto is going through the floor this morning too. Ethereum is down like 3.6% this morning. Bitcoin's fallen 1.7% this morning. This is just making just about everybody who trades nervous unless they're buying defense and oil stocks, it sounds like, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, Ethereum's down 6.3%. Selena,
Ooh.
I don't know what the heck that currency is, but it's down 7% this morning. Bitcoin's down two and a quarter right now. It's off. It was up over 110,000 earlier this week. Now it's down below 105,000.
And the movement's obviously pretty fast. Those numbers I was quoting are off of my delayed quotes, and that's only about 20 minutes worth of difference. And you're giving me, like multiple percentage points difference even in the last 20 minutes. Talk about a fast-moving picture to try to track. If you're into Bitcoin and you bought it just in the last couple of weeks, well, lick your wounds for a little while and you might want to hang on to it because probably as volatile as that is, it probably is going to change again soon. But today's a bad day for you. Other events are going on around today that are affecting money, and probably this isn't helping it one little bit. Yesterday afternoon, President Trump said he anticipates picking a new Federal Reserve chair, quote, very soon to replace Jay Paulson. Now, he said he's not going to fire Paulson, but his term ends next year, so we might very well have a shadow Federal Reserve chair waiting in the wings expressing his opinions on everything that the Federal Reserve does while Paulson is actually doing the job. That's not something I look at as good for stability in the marketplace.
Well, let's face it, Paulson's not going to like it. Somebody looking over his shoulder. But let's remember, Paulson and the voting, bank presidents, they're the ones that are going to make the decisions. Now, this person they put in there may make some comments or they may shut him up, and not let him speak at all. Just you have to just watch and we'll see how that plays out in the whole scheme of things.
Yeah, it does need to keep in mind. I mean, the chair of the Federal Reserve does have some emergency powers. We all can remember Greenspan making some unilateral moves in between board meetings, but those big interest rate decisions that President Trump is making so much noise about wanting the interest rate dropped, those are done by a vote of governors on the Open Market Committee. And while Paulson's got a lot of clout, he still doesn't have all the votes.
No, he doesn't. He has to, everybody presents their case and then they vote on what to do with interest rates. So, yeah, everybody's got to vote there.
Absolutely. Other tidbits, we both are kind of going through our tidbit list this morning. The IPOs are evidently doing well. Another high-tech IPO started yesterday. It was called Chime Financial. Well, they started the trading, and all of a sudden they ended the day 37% up. We're looking for places we can make money, and sometimes every once in a while we find one, don't we?
We do. Let's just remember that when we got IPOs, it looks great on paper. It really does. But the likelihood of you and me or somebody else getting in on the ground floor of an IPO is pretty slim.
Yeah,
So we have to
kind of
buy in
like
the aftermarket after it's already popped, and then a lot of times we're paying too much for it and watch it drop back down.
yeah, those IPO initial offerings. It's one step removed from insider trading. It's rigged for the original investors. There's no doubt whatsoever on that, is it?
That and the banking company that's investment bank that's putting it out there because they usually get a not only a percentage, but they also get a holdback usually of stock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something, but it's fun to watch, and at the very least, there's excitement to it. There have been a few IPOs last year that kind of fell flat, so it's not a universal rule. You get fat and sassy if you get in on an IPO. GameStop fell over 22% yesterday. They decided to sell off a bunch of debt and transform their balance sheet into a crypto company. Gosh, I wonder if that had anything to do with crypto going down.
I don't know, man, but stockholders did not like that bond offering. That's for sure.
Yeah, they want to sell video games. They don't want to sell Bitcoin. Other junk going on. Oh, yeah. OpenAI chief Sam Altman was on the presser yesterday. He said that artificial intelligence is smarter than people in many ways. I'd like to ask him how to explain then why ChatGPT was playing counselor a few weeks ago and suggested that somebody stick their head in a microwave.
Oh, that wasn't good.
No, it's not as smart as a real counselor anyway. We do have some reports to give out this morning, too. Not a whole heck of a lot of them, but my favorite malware carrier actually reported, Adobe. How did they do last quarter?
So Adobe did they actually beat on earnings and on revenue, Dave. They beat by 10 cents a share, came in at $5.06, beat on revenue. But there's a few flies in the ointment here. They have a slight deceleration in subscriptions. And so that's weighing on them a little bit because it's implied into their fourth quarter growth outlook that it's not going to be as good as anticipated. They lifted their full year guidance, so that never bodes well. So they're down almost 4% this morning.
Ouch. I've always said it's not my favorite company because of a bad experience with a download from them a few years ago, but I hate to see the company go down. That means investors are getting shafted. How about
Yeah.
doorknobs?
Hey,
How are the door?
doorknobs doing well, Dave. Restoration Hardware, the home furnishing retailer, had a super quarter, Dave. They blew it out of the water. They earned 13 cents a share. They were expected to lose 9 cents a share.
My
So a
God.
pretty good turnaround there for them. Revenue better than expected as well. So they're doing well, though let's face it now, their shares are down more than 50% year to date before this report came out.
Ouch. They got a
Yeah,
lot to recover from, don't they?
they do, and this up 19 or 20% is not going to get them there. But they're up, like I said, between 19 and 20% right now from the close yesterday.
What? I don't remember what their problems had been that brought them down so doggone far, but it's interesting when you start getting worried about the economy. You go buy new kitchen cabinet door pulls or something, right?
Well, I think this is really based on still home sales, right? People want they're upgrading whenever somebody buys a home, they don't just buy it and move in. They buy it, they put their touches on it, which is a restoration hardware, go shopping, bring stuff in, change the knobs, change the outlook, buy new because they got couches and other nice looking stuff. You're gonna go in and buy that kind of stuff if you're the high end user.
I suppose. I'm happy they're doing well. Resetting the table, and nothing on the table yesterday means a doggone thing this morning with the overnight events, but it was a green day yesterday. 45 minutes before we start trading, I'm almost afraid to ask what the trends look like this morning, Philip. How we doing?
They're going red, Dave. We got the Dow down 1%, the S&P 500 is down almost 1%, Nasdaq 100 is down one and a quarter. The Russell 2000 is down almost 1.5%. So everything is getting slashed and burned this morning, except for the other side of the coin. We got silver's even right now. Gold, man, took a big jump up 1.6% to $3,457 an ounce. And then to beat
Oh,
that, crude oil up 8.75%, almost $74 a barrel right now.
good heavens. And like we were saying before we went on the air, that's the first time an oil price change hasn't surprised me much. We start blowing up a country in the oil patch, and the oil price goes up. Overseas markets are none more happy than we are. The Asian Rim market was solidly red overnight. Chinese mainland markets, one of them was down by over a full percent at the 6 a.m. close. And Europe is a little bit less unhappy, but still miserable, down 1% to 1.25% more. The average European index is off by about 0.5% halfway through their trading day over there as well. So prepare for a lot of red today at the end of the day. I think it's probably the best advice we can give. Somebody want to figure out how to make a retirement plan happen in the case of these herky-jerkies? This is kind of the poster child day why somebody ought to be talking to you. How do I find you to get my plan going?
Absolutely, Dave. That's why I developed the core retirement design. And part of that design is what are you paying in fees? I had a conversation last week with a client and they had a variable annuity and they were paying over 4% in fees within their total contract. Folks, that's something you need to be aware of. You need to look at. That's why I offer a 30-minute, no obligation, free phone call. Give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule your core retirement analysis. Free phone call, and then give us a look this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m., 95.3 FM.
And newstalk730am.com. I'm going to keep reminding you because we like our streamer. Have a good weekend, my friend. I'll see you next week.
All right, buddy. Have a great one.
Take care. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services. Phillip Statler.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. I look forward to speaking to you again next week. Bye now.